Well, all right. Welcome back once again to this special NTI Day edition of Mr. Reed Math, where we're going to take the mystery in math and we're going to make it past tense. And so now, part 2 of our video series for today, we're going to finish up with the 30, 60, 90 special right triangles. All right, so here we have a couple examples of 30, 60, 90. Go surprise, right? Well, Mr. Reed, is it? I don't see 30 marked on there. Is that what it's supposed to be? Well, let me think here. See, we got a right triangle there, or a right angle, that means 90. A 60-degree angle, that's 60. 90 plus 6, that's 150. And then the only angle that could possibly be is 30. So that's really all I need to write down to prove that it is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. But, okay, so we wrote that one in there. Now, we have one value marked. That would be a length of 3. But, gee, I don't know what all these lengths are. So let's name the different sides of the triangle. Let's go with this one over here. This, of course, right across from the right triangle, or right angle, is called the hypotenuse. All right, this is the short leg, because it's the shorter of the two legs. And I'll get a little bit of purple. This is the long leg, the longer of the two legs. What amazing names we come up with for these things. Okay, so now I have a known value of 3, and I need to find these other two values. Now, if you think back to last week when I was introducing this material, I gave you all a shortcut list of how you can find the different lengths given one known length. If I know the short leg, I can find the hypotenuse by doing this. I can find the long leg by doing this. Hypotenuse, long leg, and so forth. I've got all these 6 different functions you can do. But what I'm going to show you today hopefully simplifies this a little bit. Now, if you want to pause the video here and write them down, you should already have them in your journal, or you can refer back to this. But these are the shortcuts for all 6 of the steps you'll need to be able to take with these 30, 60, 90 triangles. But let's start with this one, and let me show you the process I was talking about. If I know the short leg, jump for joy, because that's usually the easiest one to work from. Because right off the bat, the first thing is the short leg compared to the hypotenuse is always twice the length of the short leg. Okay, so, gee, I can show you the math over here. From short leg to hypotenuse, you take the short leg value, 3, and multiply times 2. That equals 6. Pretty complicated, right? Okay, so got that one done. All right, now, to go from the short leg to the long leg, it's also fairly simple. It's one step more complicated. You've got to use a radical. So to go from the short leg to the long leg, I take that short leg value, which is 3, and I multiply it by radical 3. Okay, and I come up with 3 radical 3. And now we're done. All right, there's that triangle finished. Now, let's go to the next one. Once again, love adding that color, so I like it. I love it. I want some more of. Now, if I'm taking the time to do this on video, you take the time to do this on your tests so that you have great success. Okay, I want you all to do well. Okay, so now we're going to go from the hypotenuse known value to get the other 2 unknown values. All right, a little bit harder than the short leg, but not too bad. One of the recommendations I would make, instead of trying to go from here and figure out what that shortcut, remember the shortcut to go from the hypotenuse to the long leg, you multiply by this radical 3 over 2. There's an easier way. What I recommend instead is you go around in a circle. Just go around the whole triangle. To go from the hypotenuse to the short leg is really simple. You do the opposite of this. Instead of multiplying by 2, you divide by 2. So 8 becomes 4. All right. Now you're back in the same position you were here, where you're just going to multiply whatever that value is times radical 3. And it becomes 4 radical 3. Pretty simple. If you go that way, that's an excellent recommendation. Got it from Mr. Schultz. Be sure to say thank you to him in the hall. All right, now we're going to go to the next step, the last one, and probably arguably the hardest one, is we're going to go from the long leg to the short leg and the hypotenuse. Now, if you want to we're going to use a little bit of this one to get there, so I'm showing it to you one more time. But let's go ahead and let's try to crunch this one out. Okay? Let's take the known value of 5 radical 2. Now, before we do that, let's add our color. Crazy, Mr. Reed. Crazy. A little bit of red. I like it. A little bit of green. I love it. And a little bit of purple. I want some more of hypotenuse, short leg, long leg. All right. So now, what I recommend here, instead of trying this one, this complicated one, it's 2 radical 3 divided by 3. It can be done. But I recommend we do the opposite of what we just did. It's actually a little bit easier because we'll find this is the hard part, is finding the short leg, and then we just take whatever's there and multiply it times 2. All right, so let's do that. All right, so to go from the long leg to the short leg, I'm going to take the long leg value, and I'm going to multiply that times radical 3 divided by 3. Okay, so let's take that value, 5 radical 2 multiplied by radical 3 divided by 3. Now I would love to be able to start with these whole numbers here, and take that coefficient, if you want to call it that. Take the 5 and divide it by the 3 and simplify it really quickly. But 3 and 5 don't really work out that well. So I'm just going to leave them as is, 5 and divided by 3, and now I'm going to focus on the radicals. I've got a radical 2 and a radical 3. Okay, now once again, the product rule for radicals. I can take that radical A times radical B, and that becomes radical A times B, and that helps you simplify it. So I'm going to take radical 2 times radical 3, and I'm going to make them radical 2 times 3. Okay, and now I've got 5 radical 6 divided by 3, and that's really the only hard one in this. Okay, I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to move it up there. Okay, 5 radical 6 divided by 3. Okay, so now I've got to take this value and bump it up here. What do? I multiply times 2. I'm going to use this space up here. 5 radical 6 divided by 3 times 2. All right, and that simply, I'm going to take the whole numbers. 5 times 2 is 10. Radical 6, there are no other radicals, so that stays there, and it's still divided by 3. And that's what goes right there, and we are done. Okay, so I hope you got something out of this video. I tried to keep them all short. This one was a little bit longer, but this part was a little bit harder. So enjoy the rest of your NTI day. Make sure you go to all your classes, especially make sure you go to the third period and check in so that they know you're present and participating. But otherwise, next up for you is to do the quizzes for this class, and you're done with math for today. Thank you very much. Have a good day.